Today I'm making one of the fastest quilts you'll ever see. Easy to sew, fun to put together, and impossible not to make it again and again. This video is sponsored by Craftsy. Now, if you want fast, you need pre-cuts. And I have this charm pack right here all ready to go. This is one of my favorites. Look at this. I'm making a crosshatch quilt inspired by a Craftsy class with the lovely Amy Smart from Diary of a Quilter. I just love the way she takes pre-cuts and turns them into such beautiful designs. Here's what you need to know about this quilt. We cut our squares in half diagonally like a sandwich. We make big contrasts, so light charm pack squares get dark middle strips. We match both sides and make them perfect by making a crease or drawing a line in the middle. Other than that, we just use a 1/4 inch presser foot and we're good to go. Oh, and always turn your seams to the dark fabric like Amy tells us to in her class. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many courses and quilt patterns available online, so why Craftsy? Because you get all the classes you could ever want in just one place and for an unbeatable price that's less than an ordinary quilt pattern would cost. Craftsy is an online learning platform with more than 2,000 classes in more than 20 categories, from quilting, painting, cooking, you name it. I joined a couple of years ago and it has been my absolute favorite place for learning new things and get inspired. For one thing, the instructors walk you through the entire project step by step, and no matter your skill level, there's always something for you there. I love it and I think you'll love it too. There's a special offer for new members, and for the first 1,000 people to click on the link in the description, we'll get a full year of premium membership for only $1.49. By signing up, you're not only getting access to thousands of inspiring classes all year long, you're also supporting this channel and helping me keep creating videos for you each week, and I am so grateful for that. Just click the link in the description to get started. And this is what we get. Our first 2 squares looking pretty cute. 5.5 inches is their final size, and how quick was this? Time to make 40 more squares, and this is such a free flow project. I am sure they will be done in a breeze. You can cut it 1 square at a time or stack them up and make it quicker. And of course, as usual, I just had to make a few changes. Like the fact Amy uses layer cake squares and I will be using a charm pack and some extra fabric for my quilt. Only because I don't own any layer cakes. I just have charm packs, so it'll have to do. That means I need 2.5 inch strips out of other fabrics that I can easily combine with these ones. And I think I'm just going to use a couple of pretty solids for this. They seem to match the vibe of my charm pack better than a white, for example. And if I were to use a pattern fabric, I would need a perfect match or several fabrics that went well with these, and that's a bit of a risk. But if you have like a jelly roll or some leftover jelly roll strips that are the same vibe as your charm pack, or even the same fabric, you can totally use that. So I need 9 inch pieces for this. Something that requires a bit more skill and time is to cut our square again in the other direction and make a cross. And you know what? I may just do these variants in the future. They won't be the quickest quilt, but they will be absolutely stunning. Another very cool thing about Amy's class is this is just one of the quilts she teaches. The class is actually called Pre-Cut Shortcuts, and she offers loads of quilt patterns done with pre-cuts and explains each step so carefully. It's really, really awesome. Now, I think I should explain why I'm such a fan of quick quilts. Because while I believe the joy of quilting is as much about the process, the journey if you will, as it is about the final result, the truth of the matter is oftentimes really, we just need a quick quilt. Something we can squeeze into our busy schedules and get our creative juices flowing. Tell me, how often do you put off making a quilt, or being creative for that matter, because the time that project takes is more than the time you have available? And you don't want to start something you don't even know when you'll be able to finish, right? We all lead very busy lives, so being able to complete a quilt or at least a quilt top in very little time is a very big thing. So I like sharing these quick projects with you whenever I have the chance. Next step is pressing, and again, we're making sure that when the middle strip is light, we press the seams to the 2 triangles at the corners, and when the strip is dark, we press towards the strip. And I'll show you why this is a very clever thing in a bit. And because we're cutting our fabric diagonally, the longer side is a bias strip. So be extra careful when you're handling it, okay? Because it can get really bendy, so be careful with that, okay? And can we take a moment to talk about how cute this charm pack is? I am linking it in the description so you can get one for yourself if you'd like. All flowers, different pretty colors, nothing too aggressive. I don't know, it just works. Time to puzzle. And we could have tried a few variants, but I really want an XO. I don't think I need to tell you, but I will anyway. If you want to make a bigger quilt, all you need to do is add more blocks. So this quilt as is will be about 33 by 38 inches or so. That means if you add another charm pack, you'll be left with a 66 by 38 inches, which is a good size for a lap quilt. Double that and you've got yourself a full size one. This is a 6 by 7 block quilt, and I always like to sew my longer rows first. But because 7 is an uneven number and it's easier to sew my pairs first, I prefer to sew 3 pairs first, then join them in rows, and that leaves me with 7 rows to sew together. Also, because we pressed our fabric to the dark side, our seams will nest perfectly. Now, you always ask me how I would quilt my tops. For this one, I would probably sew right in the middle of my strips. I think that would be more than enough to give it a light, cool look without spending too much time with my quilting. And of course, free motion quilting is always a very good option for this, or quilt as you go, if you don't want your stitches to show up on your blocks. If you wanted something a bit more structured, you can sew on both sides of your strip, leaving something like 1/4 of an inch on each side, for example. That will look pretty cool too. And before you know it, we're done, and I am ready to show you just how beautiful this quilt turned out. And here we have it, our lovely quilt done in no time. Definitely one of the quickest quilts I've ever made. How about you? And absolutely stunning. I love it, I hope you do too, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!